Welcome back, everyone. General Fantasy Analysis. Wasn't this just a terrific game of rugby league football? The Cowboys going down for the 8th game in a row after winning 6 of 8 in that middle period there, just absolutely fallen off a cliff. And the Tigers a much needed win for them, their morale, just their club in general. So both two teams that are really in dire straits as clubs. I know, thankfully, Cowboys have had a few really strong good years, which has kind of saved them from being that I know the laughable club like the Tigers have been in the moment, but yeah, 24-16 win for Tigers. Another big score for Adam Dewey. What's Adam doing with 85 points, 4 goals, 1 try assist, 27 tackles for 2 misses, awesome in the 6th roll, 120 metres gained and 312 kick metres. Really, only 6 in the negatives is awesome for him. And he's been on an absolute tear. He's up to 750k now, and is only going to skyrocket even further over the next bunch of weeks. And a shout out to TK for asking me to wear the singlets in winter. It's out today. Alex Twal, 69 in his 73 minutes. He's been really good the last bunch of weeks. They're playing really big minutes. So again, with him all year, this was the potential that he had if he was able to get big minutes, but then he was getting 40 and 50 and stuff like that in terms of minutes and not able to do that well. If you hold on to Luke Brooks all year, I don't think you fared too poorly. 136k he's made and averaging 54, and he's pretty much played every game. So he's actually been one of the real solid players who, again, he hasn't been missing for injury, suspension, all that sort of stuff. And that's things you've got to keep in, take into account when you're selecting a lot of these guys. That yes, he might be someone that's not the top sort of 5 or 6 in their position, but really his most important thing is just him being on the park. And even if you look at someone like Moses, and we've selected a lot of us think else in our people squad, we traded Brooks for Moses as like a small upgrade, and it's probably backfired on us. Moses didn't go very well this week, but he's also missed a bunch of games, and obviously you can't predict that. But these are things you got to think about going into next season for sure. Stefano Tikkamanu with 53, only 41 minutes this time, but a nice try there. So he's been awesome, as we've been talking about. Dearden, who's done fairly well for those that have picked him up, with 52. Sean Bloor with 51. I tipped him to get 50. Got 1 over that in updates, which was really cool. But 314k, he could be an interesting one for people this week who, who only have like 1 or 2 trades left, and if you're sitting with 2, maybe you can downgrade someone to go up to Cleary, or you can just straight swap a non-player for Bloor, who's going to score 50 in a big minute role. So he's been really cool. Leilua with a lesser game this week. Obviously, the 2 turnover tackles really helped him. But other than that, he would have had a close to a 40 score, which wouldn't have been ideal. But yeah, if you're selecting him over a Curran or those kind of guys, then he didn't fare as well. But he did better than if you picked up a Radley, for example. All right. In terms of anyone else who's really important, we got Lukey, who got 42 in his 69 minutes. He was solid enough without being spectacular. If you own him, then you got a decent score there. Anyone else in the list here? Not really anyone fantasy relevant. Simpkins back. He's going to be really cheap next year if he happens to get a big role somewhere, but we'll be wary of his point scoring ability. So onto probably the most controversial game of the week, and really seeing how far Eels have fallen off a cliff. We thought that they'd had Eagles winning 13 plus. Also had Harper to score with Trbojevic, and that didn't happen, unfortunately. The only one in the back 5 that didn't score. But yeah, is what it is. Reuben Garrick, he's been incredible this year, hasn't he? He's almost stayed the same price as when I was saying that he wasn't a good buy. I think he was about 740 or 750 at the time. A little bit less before when he first started his bit of a run, but he's kind of maintained that 50-odd point average, and kudos to him. Like, it's very similar to the left edge of the Bunnies, just with how strong they are. But 5 line breaks, 8 goals, 3 tries, and a try assist there. Spectacular. And so was Tommy, 83. If you captained him, obviously went off 6 minutes early, but he did everything he needed to do, a try and 4 try assists, just to add to his list of incredible things that he's been doing at 994k. DCE with 888 now, a little bit cheaper after a couple of lower weeks. And when we say lower weeks, it's a 59 and a 50 odd there, but didn't have to do too much. A lot of the work was done on the edges, so he's got the 1 try assist and a couple of line break assists to go along with his 17 tackles of 412 kick meters. So 59 for him, you take every day of the week. Isaiah Papali'i only 53 minutes and playing through the middle this time. No attacking stats was the reason, and the lack of running meters. So with Manly having so much of the ball, he didn't get his opportunity, and that's completely fine. We don't have to worry about him. Obviously, there's only a few weeks left, but yeah. She'll start with 34. Didn't have to do too much. Again, only a couple of line break assists for 4 tackle breaks. Less tackles being, them dominating. And 91 metres is pretty normal for him, to be fair. So a bit of a lower one. Didn't have to get involved too much. There's a lot of just passing out to the boys on his left edge to run away and score really well. So yeah, again, she'll stay here just playing him the rest of the year, really hoping for a 50 odd each week. Madison, this was the killer. So the send off was big. So he was on 45 in his 62 minutes, just trucking along really well with the try assist there. He's 94 metres, 29 tackles, and gets sent off, and it looks like he should be out for a bunch of weeks, and that'll kill his season. So yeah, very painful at 689k to lose him for the season and lose about 20 points there that you would have been able to get and improve our ranking points. And I know a lot of people actually brought him in this week, so sorry to all those guys that did that, unfortunately. And the other one there that's a little bit of annoying for us is Joey Lussic, who I decided to bring into my team, which allowed me to bring in Josh Jackson, who absolutely killed it. But Lussic with 54 minutes was the issue, and thinking he'd be getting closer to 80, maybe a 70 at worst. It was a very, very, I suppose, frustrating. And the fact that they didn't have the ball at all. He had no opportunities for attacking stats, and he's very, very lucky not to have any missed tackles. And when you look at the bloke below him having 6 missed tackles, Lussic kind of got away with it half okay. There's a lot of time just waiting for the ball to be kicked through the goals, and then a repeat set for the attacking side. So yeah, not much for Lussic there. You'd imagine he's going to improve against a lesser team, but we'll have to wait and see with that one. I suppose the next thing with Moses is that 31 is really, really poor, obviously, but the 6 missed tackles, the 1 error. Kicking meters was completely fine and still ran the ball, 71 meters there, but just no attacking stats and obviously no goals to go along with that. Glenn Gutherson was actually kicking this time, so it's not ideal for Moses's efforts going forward. But for him against they have Manly. Who's next? They have to make me look, aren't they? Who is next for the Eels, guys? That's the real question. How slow is that? Get around to our next person while we're waiting. I said Harpo with a lower one. If you're holding him, that's painful. Mike Acevo with a 7, unfortunately, so that's no good. Fixtures. Who are the Eels got to finish? Can they even win a game to finish off the rounds? All right, Cowboys. So we should have, you'd expect a good score from Moses this week, but then maybe a couple of shockers. Not shockers, but I wouldn't expect huge ones against the Storm and the Panthers, just with how much they're getting dominated. Most of the games are either winning or they're right in the contest, whereas lately they've just been getting hammered. So it depends if the Storm rest a few people or not, but they should still get beat pretty bad against the Storm, and then see how the Panthers go in that last round if Cleary plays or anything like that. But yeah, a real interesting time for if you're owning a lot of Eels players. They were doing really well, and now they're not. So yeah, frustrating, as we've been saying. And if you're an Eels fan, that's obviously makes it even worse. Warriors and the Dogs, 24-10. It's really, really happy to see the Warriors actually playing well and 3 on the trot for them, with a couple of outstanding scorers in their squad, led by Curran and Ewan Aiken over the last bunch of weeks. Joshy was absolutely in everything in the middle there. 59 in base in the tackles and meters gained, and actually ball playing a fair bit. Able to get 3 line breaks, a try assist, and a try. He was special. 97 points to boot and 79k in rises. So he's still fairly cheap, and I think is a really solid option if you need someone that a little bit cheaper, which we saw with Josh Jackson as well, to get pretty much, I think, his highest score of the year with 81. 58 tackles for no misses, 2 turnovers, one strip, I believe, 151 meters gained. It was just a special game for their captain and leader, but they just don't have much in attack, do they, at all, the Dogs, unfortunately. You see Ewan Aiken just getting through plenty of work too, 54 in base and 4 tackle breaks, no negatives there. He was special as well. Tavanga was 64, Fanua Blake was 63. Both really, really good. Fanua Blake, a lot of people have, and getting those big minutes and 212 run meters is without a silly amount of attacking stats, he's really, really good for anyone's side at 640. So really a bunch of guys, with Lodge being out, really stepping up through the middle there with Curran, Fanua Blake, and also Aiken. Just the more chance he gets his hands on the ball is going to be better for him, which he sometimes misses out on in the centres, and then he gets to tackle a lot more in the back row. So he's been really cool in that position. Surprisingly, moving along, Ryan James played pretty solidly. in his first game at moving over, and obviously at Horsburgh as well. Bailey's a solid little player, isn't he? He just does his job, runs the ball a little bit, does a little bit of kicking. I suppose it's just hard when there's not much around you at this stage. Reece Walsh with a try and a try assist. So again, there's not running the ball a lot and didn't kick as much this week. So we see a CHT there. He's that left foot on the left edge that they need to kick, and Walsh doesn't have to do that as much anymore. Just the one big kick this week. But the 4 goals, he's a solid goal kicker as well. So he's doing okay, not spectacular, but we take his score. And same with Averillo, 34 in a beaten side. No attacking stats. 1 goal, 64 metres. So you'd like him to run the ball a little bit more, but when he's playing that 7 role, he's a bit hit and miss on how much he runs it. Horsburgh said was busy. He got 4 offloads for him, which is something they really need. That little bit of broken play to get them going, but didn't help them too much. And he picked up 2 tries. And Cody Nikorima's getting really, really cheap. So look to him if he starts in a 7 role sometime. It won't be next year, I imagine, with the Warriors. But if he ends up moving, I'm not sure what his signing situation is. But yeah, keep an eye on that one if you're thinking about Nikorima for next year, because he was really, really solid in that 7 role and was a keeper level player, averaging like 54 for the majority of the season there. Alrighty, Sharks and Knights. Obviously, it was an okay game, to be fair, back and forth. A couple of penalty goals, getting close. Barnett just being really, really strong on that edge. I think it's his position. I don't know what you guys think. I think he runs a good line, and can pick up a meat pie or two, every second or third week. And having him and Tyson Frizzell on either edge, I think is really solid. I think he's better than Fitzgibbon. And then playing Watson through the middle, I think it was good to see him on the park for a lot more minutes than usual. Braden Trindle, if you've had him from the start, he's done really well. Another 60 without doing too much. 20 tackles and 16 points in kick meters. Running the ball as well. Can't really complain with that. Toby Rudolph was solid. Ramian with 59 with 1 try. Again, just showing why he's one of the premier centres in the game without having to do too much. Obviously, just a quick one-on-one beat to score the try, and then just really solid work around that. Jack Williams has actually been really, really good. I think he's improved a lot since last season. We all picked him up as that sort of slight mid-range player that was going to play big minutes in the middle and score really well, and it just didn't turn out to be. He just didn't play very well, but I definitely think he's improved a lot this season. If you had to hold on to Brayley this time, then you picked up 54 with 50 tackles for him. Again, fallen off the cliff, unfortunately. Connor Watson, 51 in his 58 minutes, so solid through the middle, good tackling as always. 3 tackle breaks, 90 metres, so we'll take that for sure. If you're holding on to him, we need a decent score there. Ponga was really solid, 10 tackle breaks, 180 metres, so 48 just in that, but no try assists or tries. So to get a 48 without scoring anything attacking wise, I think was really solid. And 4 missed tackles for a fullback is not usual for when they're not getting smashed. Like if you get beat 30 or 40 to 10, then you're going to be last line of defence a fair bit. But we can expect them to be better than they were. They didn't play very well, and hopefully he can score better. Bradman Best is so good to watch, and he's a real special talent at 19 or 20 or whatever he is now. He can just keep it on the park. I think he's going to be really, really good. If you get him one-on-one, he's very, very hard to stop. Pierce was okay without being spectacular as well, 46. Frizzell was 42. Just wasn't as involved as much in attacking positions as well. They didn't really put him in the right position. I said they were a bit clunky the Knights, and Frizzell plays his best when they're on a nice roll. You see from the start of the season, he was up around that 800k mark. He was one of the best second rowers in the game, and you can see by his average of 57 as to what he's been doing. But it's pretty crazy what that means, because if he's averaging 57, that's an 800k player, and to see him at 620 means that his last bunch of rounds hasn't been very good at all. Clifford was okay. Kurt Mann was solid in the centres. Kind of Tracy doing his thing. Talakai in there as well. In terms of anyone else, did everyone hear about Fafita and getting put into an induced coma? So we hope that he's okay. Wasn't in a good way after he got hit in the throat, so sounds like he's okay. But yeah, if you're looking at Lukey Metcalf, I think he's really solid, really fast boy out of a couple of good run down dummy half. And what about the strip that Barnett did on him? I know he was kind of falling over and obviously wasn't thinking about holding the ball as tight, but just the beautiful steal from Barnett. That was a big turning point in the game. But I liked little Metcalf coming on and making an impact. I think is solid without doing too much. But yeah, guys, that's the last 4 games of the round. Let me know what you thought of round 22. There's a lot going on. Suspensions, the injuries. There's some talk that Tommy Trbojevic might not be out for more than 1 week. We might get him back for the last couple. There's talk of him asking Des to let him play because he's got through training and they reckon it's not a fracture. So we'll have to wait and see what that means for him and his ability to get on the park. And if he is out for the majority of weeks and you don't have any trades, it's really painful. If you do have some trades, then you can really get anyone in the game apart from Cleary, unless you have some money in the bank. So yeah, good luck with your trades if you have any. But if you don't, thank you very much for continuing to watch and hopefully learning something, because every week we learn something new for next year to get better. I know every year I'm learning with this game. I've been playing for a long time, but there's always something different, or the rules changing or something like that. So let's follow that over the last few rounds, and I hope your team hobbles their way to the finish pretty well. If you're still playing head to head, good luck in your 3 to go. So the second semi, top 6 I imagine now. So yeah, good luck with that, and we'll catch you in the next one. We're going to analyze the People Squad and also my team, guys. See you later. Have a good one.